All right, boys, arms raised if you've gotten vaxxed.
I'm half raising it.
Oh yeah, this is my half raise as well.
I'm at full mast, baby.
Now tell me, how's that 5G service working out, Jacob?
Dude, super fast, super efficient. I feel like a new person.
You know, I wish it was that easy. Like, okay, so right, there's a whole like, oh, don't put on the mask. There's 5G within the bands, and I'm like, I wish. Do you know how much 5G coverage our world would have right now?
That'd be great.
If that were true,
Yeah.
I'm not getting any 5G now, and I wear plenty of masks.
Everywhere we go.
Conservatives, explain yourselves. And
Who put it on
hello,
5G.
what?
Who put it on 5G? You know? Of all things.
Yeah, right. Like who? Like this is probably some like QAnon bullshit. Is what it
100%.
really is.
Yeah. And this is no conspiracy podcast. So if you're here for some Q talk, go somewhere else.
You're not gonna like our opinion
Yeah,
on it.
you're not gonna like our opinions, but what I do like is an intro. Hello, I am Jeremy Van Suarez, and welcome to the Packcast, the official Blackwolves podcast. And I'm gonna say my name one more time because I can. I'm your host, Jeremy Van Suarez,
I'm Jacob Wade.
And I'm Logan Riley Bruner.
and here we are at the drive-through.
Here we are at the drive-through line.
It is a new day in the wonderful city of New York. Not only has marijuana been legalized, not only has prostitution been decriminalized, but according to the CDC, if we're fully vaxxed, we can just walk around without masks now.
Unless you're near a crowd, in which case you'll probably wear a mask.
Yes, unless you're near a crowd, or if you're in an indoor space. How do we feel about our slow? Oh, before I how do we feel about our slow return to normalcy? As I add on to that, I even have family members who are like, oh yeah, our jobs are calling us back into the office. And my godmom was like, ay, ya comencé la normalidad, which is like, here comes the return to normalcy. How do we feel about what the CDC is saying?
I'm feeling optimistic. I've, still been cautious in wearing my mask outside just because, other people, when they see me, they don't know that I've been fully vaxxed. I want to put them at ease and be like, yeah, still being safe.
Good for you.
Yeah. I mean, but, if I'm walking down the street, you know, smoking with a friend, I'll pull it down to here.
Like no one in sight,
Yeah. You know, hit a joint down the street, puff puff. They can see that I'm, doing something with my mouth, and then, I'll pass someone, cover it up, but legal, 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 legal.
Exactly. It's
All
all
legal.
legal.
So, yeah, I mean, on the subway, you gotta keep that mask up, guys. Even if you're vaxxed, I mean,
I would consider a subway a crowded indoor space.
yeah. I mean, the point is, you can be unmasked around other vaccinated peoples, and even I think some unvaccinated peoples, I think is what they said.
I think they said unvaccinated people needed to continue to wear masks, but if you're vaccinated and have spent 2 weeks that you could be, but it would probably be better if everyone was masked.
Well, I mean, of course, it's always probably better if everyone is masked.
You know?
Staying safe.
Yeah, I'm excited about the CDC guidelines. Honestly, I'm probably going to keep wearing a mask even when all this is like done, specifically in times when like the flu is really having a spike or like I feel sick. Like, do I want to walk around outside with a mask all the time? No. But if there's like, if the flu is having an outbreak, if I know I'm going to be riding the subway, like maybe keep a mask in my bag so I can like walk into the train, pull my mask on, make sure that I don't get sick, and then take it off when I get off the train. I've gotten enough masks over the time that COVID has happened. My mom did a whole like mask creation spree at the start of COVID that like I have fashionable masks now that like go with my outfits. So it doesn't hurt to have one. And it's kept me from getting sick throughout COVID. Like I didn't really have most of the like colds that I normally have.
Same.
The only things that I ever got were like food poisoning, which for whatever reason I seem to be really susceptible to.
Can't mask that away.
You know, I might keep it going.
Listen, we live in a new normal, right? Where it's like masks are a yes, you know?
Yeah.
And masks, it's like they have benefits beyond not spreading COVID. For example, this past weekend, we were, as you saw in the last podcast, or as you heard actually, there were home renovations being done in my house, on my floor, in which involved a lot of dust. And I was like sneezing 5 times a minute. People were giving up on saying bless you to me. My nose was running and then stuffing and then running and then stuffing. And at a certain point, I was like, you know what? Screw this. I don't care if I'm inside. I don't care if I'm in my room. I'm putting my mask on. And you know what? It helped. It helped. I get a lot of seasonal allergies. I go outside, pollen, mask. Boop. Nothing.
Nice.
Can't even touch me.
Some people might continue to put masks on in the summer. Why? Because they don't want to put sunscreen on. Listen, don't judge people if they want to continue wearing their masks. Honestly, I think masks is something that shouldn't be like, shouldn't be politicized. But that aside, like, if someone feels more comfortable, especially like Logan said, in like flu seasons, someone feels more comfortable wearing a mask, then let them wear a mask.
Totally.
Super helpful.
I think that people will still be wearing masks even when Broadway comes back in September, apparently.
Allegedly.
Because I feel like, I don't know if there's going to be like a vaccination checkpoint at the door by the ushers or anything like that, but like...
Yeah, right? Like show us your card.
Yeah.
As I cover up on my info. None of y'all are getting it.
I hate to make you sneeze, Jeremy, but we do have to stir up a little bit of dust with some house cleaning.
I know. I almost forgot. Go ahead, take it away, Logan.
As we announced yesterday, when the podcast is premiering on Tuesday, we record these in advance, if you were not aware by the fact that we say that every week. We have officially finished Zoom for Change. The last show was 2 weeks ago. If you still want to support Beam, the link to their website and their community is in the bio. All in all, throughout the 3 weeks of performances, our group, headed by Will Callahan, raised over $2,700. We are so excited. We're so thankful to everybody that donated. We really want to give shout outs to everybody that came and saw the shows, people that didn't come to see the show and still donated afterwards, people that have really been supporting us through social media and through text. We really appreciate all you guys. It meant a lot to see so many people there for DNA and to see so many people there for Dinner with Friends and the Story. It's really awesome to continue to support each other as a community and to continue to create art. In addition to that, all three of us, when this podcast airs, will actually be working on projects. Are we allowed to talk about them? No, but we're still excited that we're doing them. That's going on right now. If in the next podcast we're in a new location, that is why. But if we're not in a new location, then be aware that we will probably talk about the fact that we just got back. Additional housekeeping. Season 2 of Acoustic Covers is starting to roll along. We're having conversations behind the scenes about premiering that. Dates and official songs will be announced soon-ish? ?
This month.
But we're going to start talking about that. We're looking for a little August, maybe September area for that kind of stuff. We're getting started on a new web series that we'll hopefully be announcing very, very soon. Looking to do some pre-production right now and then film over the summer because our fantastic co-founder, Jeremy, is going to be gone for 2 months.
Yes, formal announcement, everyone. A little bit more than... No, yeah, 2 months is right. I will be working at a wonderful theater camp in Pennsylvania from June to August. So sadly, your dear and beloved host shall be whisked away with the summer wind.
And with that, we're gonna need some help. Jacob and I can't run this podcast on our own. We're just 2 baby boys. So we're gonna be bringing in guests. Who would you guys like to see? Let us know in the comments. People from the collective. Do you want to see Soren Alf Correa of Master Daters fame? Do you want to see the almighty Mike from over on Twitch, Michael A. Jorge? Do you want to see Olivia Grady from DNA? Who do you want? We would love to know who you guys want to see pop up on the podcast. We'll probably bring in some other people as well. But Jacob and I are going to be running the podcast with special guests throughout June and July. So if you want to see anybody in particular, comment it down below. We'd be very excited to hear who everybody wants to see. And we're very excited for this kind of opportunity to do something a little different, and a little unique for 2 months before we get back to the normal kind of roll of things. So congrats, Jeremy. It's going to be awesome to have you working and doing the thing that you love. I'm super proud of you, man.
Yeah, I'm super excited. This is going to be my first I've never been away to camp before. So the fact that this is the first time that I'm doing it, but I'm on the other side of where I thought I would be, is pretty interesting, but I'm so excited.
Nice.
Well, thank you so much for that preliminary send off. And I mean, the biggest thing also felt like the quietest thing this year, or this week, actually. This past Sunday, the Oscars happened. Normally, I feel like I'd be saying this with a lot more excitement, but I felt like I didn't know the Oscars were happening until the morning of,
Yeah.
thanks to Twitter. And I mean, like who you gonna blame? You know, pandemic's been raging on. People haven't really been thinking about the Oscars. There's more important things going on in the world. But the show must go on, and the Oscars have arrived and went. And with it, we have our reactions to it, the positives, the negatives. But before we start talking about the winners, I want to talk about what probably was one of the hypest moments of the night for me. If you've watched any podcasts, Packcast, if you've watched any of them, you know that I like West Side Story just a little bit.
Just a tiny bit.
Just a tiny bit. And with the Oscars came the premiere trailer of Steven Spielberg's remake of West Side Story. I'll give my thoughts on it first. Interesting. Period. It looks old school.
Yes.
Like, it's not like Steven Spielberg is like, I'm gonna take West Side Story and I'm gonna put it in 2021. Like, no. Otherwise, everyone would have to be wearing masks. No, it, like, dare I say, it almost looks like a shot-for-shot remake of the original.
I saw some comparison videos, and there are some pretty unique shots in there.
No, yeah, I'll take that back. It does not look like a shot-for-shot. But, like, I think in terms of tone and aesthetics, it looks like it's staying pretty truthful to the original movie.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting take, you know? Let me hear what you guys think about it.
Jacob, you want to go first?
Sure. I think that he's doing traditional West Side Story. He's taking what we know and love and are comfortable with and just freshening it up a little bit with fresh faces. I think he's staying true to period. He's staying true to like the time, the place, like how New York was back then. Like it's gonna be like a nostalgia thing instead of
this other West Side Story that tried to do new things.
Modern, yeah.
It did try to do new things, and you know what? It succeeded at doing new things. That production of West Side Story, while it was extremely modern, it in like concept was still like very rooted in traditional sense of the show. I think.
Yeah,
I'm extremely excited to see this film. I mean, it looks beautiful.
it does. And I was already getting chills from the trailer. Like that sounded like Rita Moreno singing somewhere, which could be a new kind of take on it. Rita Moreno looks great. Also, very happy that she's back for this one.
Oh, me too.
Yeah,
I'm personally thrilled. At first I was kind of like, West Side Story, all right, fine, I guess we can do another West Side Story movie, because West Side isn't like my favorite Broadway show. Me and Jeremy have kind of that differing opinion where he loves West Side Story and I'm kind of a little more indifferent toward it. Yeah, I mean,
West Side Story holds a special place in my heart because I feel like it's the musical that got me into musicals.
And that's totally fair. Personally, this is the most excited I have been for a production creation version of West Side Story in a long time. Shout out to Ben Cook, who went to Professional Performing Arts School, where we went to high school.
Who was in this version, this Broadway revive, and is also going to be in the movie.
I watched that trailer and was just like, sold me instantly. I was like, Steven Spielberg has a really good record of taking filmmaking classically and just like perfecting it. Like there are times that I'm not necessarily the hugest Steven Spielberg fan, but I'll always respect him for the talent that he has as a filmmaker. And this just looks like he's taking everything that he's great at and just like laying it all down in perfection. The shots were stunning. The performances looked really nuanced. It looked like he really gave people a lot of freedom to just like do their thing, but also really put the camera in super unique and interesting places. So I'm super thrilled. The one shot that I really want to shout out is as everyone's approaching for the Rumble and the shot was overhead, instead of catching both groups walk up, it was like the overhead shadow shot. I thought that was just gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited for this West Side Story remake. I'm interested to see how everybody does, especially Ansel Elgort as Tony. That's gonna be a really fun thing to
Yeah.
see Ansel do a musical.
It will be. I haven't heard Ansel's singing voice.
We heard him sing that last note in the trailer, and that sounded good.
Did he?
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure he's singing along in that last note.
Probably.
Perhaps.
Logan, if there were a Steven Spielberg movie for you that was like, which would it be?
Like, are you asking his least favorite or just his eh?
He said he's not always the biggest fan of Steven Spielberg's work.
See, I can't think of a movie that's like, eh. I can think of movies that I haven't like left being like, oh my gosh, that was fantastic.
Like what?
There are movies that I've left and been like, that was good.
I'm trying to get out of you. Which
Yeah.
one left you being like, actually, Steven, maybe that one didn't hit.
I don't like to talk badly about anybody's movies.
We're not talking
We're not
badly.
talking
It's
bad.
a personal
We're not talking
preference.
bad. We're just talking opinions, bro.
Yeah, like I can say that I wasn't like the biggest fan of the Ready Player One movie.
I loved
haven't
that
seen it
movie.
yet.
Like it was good, you know. Like
Logan,
I'm
you
not
gotta-
saying it
you
was a
would like
bad
that
movie, but like that wasn't like my favorite thing.
See, people have told me I would like that movie, but I've also read the book, and I feel like the book is a lot different than the movie, and I loved the book.
It always is.
Right, of course.
Yeah, but there are sometimes that like Hunger Games, the first movie, stuck pretty close to the book.
Oh, I have a pretty obvious Spielberg falling. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Done. That one.
Nope, see?
Okay, you can't just take Jeremy's answer though.
But
I
yeah.
want to know. For me, it's Tintin.
I'll go on IMDb and see if there's anyone that specifically stands out to me as like, I didn't like this one.
Yeah, for me, it was Tintin. I was like, Spielberg, you could do better than Tintin.
Word.
I think the last Spielberg movie that I like really enjoyed start to finish was probably Super 8,
That one was great.
which was more of a J.J. Abrams venture. But that movie really caught the spirit of like Super 8 was Stranger Things before Stranger Things, right? It was doing that whole era of young kids like discovering something like strange and fantastical and like having to deal with it. Yeah. And I think I like it more because J.J. Abrams and like, ooh, maybe it was connected to Cloverfield. But I just remember like the trailer really having an effect on me, and then like seeing it in theaters and just kind of being like just amazed by the finesse of it all. I really like that one. But I think in terms of failing, I mean, Crystal Skull. Come on, that was not it.
Yeah, I think Crystal Skull is definitely the worst. The one that I didn't like, but I know that a lot of people love, so it's kind of controversial, would probably be Lincoln.
I'd have to agree with you there.
Daniel Day-Lewis gives a brilliant performance, and some of those shots are really, really pretty, but A, it's just not my kind of movie, and B, based on the actual history of Lincoln and what that fight for ending slavery was really like, that's the movie I would have wanted to see, not Lincoln stands in front of his congressional people and talks about how we have to end slavery, but actually watching like Lincoln debate this issue back and forth of like, do I go all the way with this because people are telling me it's the right thing to do, or do I kind of allow the South to do what they want? There was a lot more controversy in that decision than I think a lot of people point out. Lincoln was not this like anti-slavery, like going to bat, gonna knock people down guy. He listened to people who were smarter than him and made decisions based on that. A lot of his early career was being pro-slavery. And then eventually he changed his mind because he realized that it was the better political and moral decision to make. So yeah, if I had to pick one, if I had to be like, this is the thing that I didn't like, it has nothing to do with Spielberg's directing or his talent. It's just my preference in the movie.
I think you have to try really hard as Steven Spielberg to deliver a bad West Side Story.
Yeah. I don't think Steven Spielberg has really delivered a bad movie in a long time.
In a long time, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying any of them are bad.
I'll put Crystal Skull up there.
That I
It
think would be
wasn't
that
bad.
would be the only one that I would put on a category as maybe being bad.
Well, I think that's because it's sitting next to its predecessors, you know? And it's like you're holding it to that standard.
Actually, to be fair, the only Indiana Jones movie that I've seen in full is Crystal Skull.
Okay, what the heck, dude? What the heck, dude? You're just talking out of your ass then. You gotta watch all of the movies leading up to it.
And then I get to
It'll
have
still
an
be your
opinion.
favorite of the four.
Of course it will be.
But I mean, those are classic Spielberg films.
I know. I'm just not really about the whole like tomb raiding genre. Like I don't know. I think I remember like just like watching Crystal Skull just because it was like, oh, like Indiana Jones, like it's like a new Star Wars coming out. Like Indiana Jones is a classic, you know? And
Okay.
then being like, oh, well, that wasn't great.
It wasn't great. You're right.
It happens.
It happens. But we're not here to talk about not great movies. We're here to talk about winners only and who should have won because the Oscars happened.
True that.
Before
Although I didn't see a lot of these movies.
they crept up on us, man.
They did. Well, this past year also was like a very inaccessible year for cinema.
Yeah.
Either you had the streaming service or you didn't.
Not only that, but us personally at Blackwolves, we've been busy making our own movie.
Yeah,
True that.
editing took up a lot of time.
But also we couldn't go to the movies for the past year.
Yeah, and most of these movies were either in movies or pay $20 to rent. Only a handful of Best Picture nominations were up for streaming privileges, like Nomadland, Judas and the Black Messiah, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. But most of these other movies were just kind of floating in the liminal theatrical space that no one could really go to or felt comfortable going to.
Yeah.
But we got you. We're going to talk about the Oscars right now, starting with best writing original screenplay. The winner was Promising Young Woman, a movie that I definitely would have pegged for this category.
Before we get too deep into awards, I'd like to actually talk about the show as a whole.
Yeah, I wanted to do that too. It was really 11. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say that the pre-show, the way that they kind of ran the pre-show for the Oscars, I liked. I liked having all the best songs be performances, like fully filmed, edited performances and not live. I thought that was cool. I thought that gave them really a chance to shine. I liked the interviews that a lot of people were having. It was cool to see everybody like coming back together and getting to see their friends again. I always love that stuff. But then we got to the show. And the show felt like there's a British TV show that a comedian I like is a part of. And they've kind of made the joke that their producers have said they're not allowed to talk about COVID because they don't think it'll age well. Like someone's going to be watching the show in like 2 years and like on rebroadcast and not recognize and like be confused if they mention COVID, which I think is a little ridiculous.
That's pretty ridiculous
So they
considering how crazy this is for the whole world.
So they
you
keep
know?
making jokes about like, yep, just a super long table. We're just sitting at a really long table for no reason, just at a table. This year's Oscars felt like they were kind of trying to do that. They were trying to do the like, there's nothing happening. We're just having the Oscars. Which for me, they took a misstep. Because the show, there were some times that they would cut away to people at like predetermined locations to like film them, which was cool. And it was cool to see the people that couldn't necessarily be there. But in particular, two things bothered me. The first was we didn't really get to see anybody's work. Like, yeah, there was a lot of focus on the individual, but I didn't feel like I was watching anyone's work. I felt like I was just staring at people as they talked about their experience as designers or as actors, which is cool, but I want to see the thing that you're nominated for, not just you sitting there going,
Oh, did they not do like the flourish of like
No.
none.
weird? I didn't watch.
And Anthony Hopkins, who won his first Oscar for The Father for Best Leading Actor, which is super cool, was not allowed to accept his award.
Not allowed.
Not allowed to accept his award over Zoom.
Because he's at high risk for COVID, so he didn't want to leave and go to the Oscars predetermined location where he could have accepted his award. And the producers of the Oscars said that it would throw off the balance of the show to have people at home over Zoom. They didn't want any of that Zoom stuff. So they were just going to have everybody at predetermined locations. And if you couldn't get there, you couldn't get there.
Just their way of
and-
sweeping COVID under the rug.
Yes. An issue with this that maybe should have been addressed is Sir Anthony Hopkins. Actually, I'm not sure if he's Sir Anthony Hopkins yet. He might be.
I believe he is.
Was diagnosed with autism like 5 or 6 years ago. He was diagnosed very late in life. And he's talked about the fact that he's very uncomfortable at award shows, that they make him super uncomfortable to be there. And so the fact that not only did they not let someone who was high risk for COVID record their thing, but someone who has been vocal about the fact that they don't like big crowds and don't like award shows not accept their award is not a good look.
Yeah.
it makes it look like the Oscars think that they are more important than the people they're awarding, and I don't like that. I think personally that like the most important people at the Oscars are the people being awarded the Oscars, not the award themselves. So to kind of like put yourself on this pedestal of like, we're not going to do anything for anybody because we're the Oscars and we want our show to look great, and then to end up not looking great, period, was kind of a misstep for me.
Yeah, I personally didn't mind that they didn't like mention COVID, because I feel like not and it's not even about like it's not gonna age well thing, because I think that this is such an important moment in everyone's lives that like no matter what happens, like it gets a pass, you know? It's like if someone is watching the 2021 Oscars in the year 2036 and they saw everyone with masks, it'd be like, oh, there's a pandemic going on. Continue. You know? But what I did take issue with was the lack of showing people's work. I appreciated the focus on specific artists and letting us know about their past works and, you know, their inspirations and things like that. But I think that that should have been paired with their current work. You know, it's like, okay, you want me to care about these individual costume designers, but I don't know what costumes they're being nominated for. You want me to care about how great the makeup artist is, but I can't, I don't have a visual, you know, representation to help me be like, yeah, I really think that one should win. But on the other hand, I did like just the general look of it, right? It's like live, but it's also shot in like widescreen, and it's like it gives you that feeling of like maybe this has all been pre-filmed, maybe it's live. I don't know, but the widescreen was aesthetically pleasing. They had Questlove there doing live music, which was pretty sick, and I think the smaller space helped them in terms of like if the focus was to get us to like know the artist better, then I think having a smaller space like what they did this year was a good choice, instead of just like us looking into this sea of mostly white faces in the theater. Instead, we kind of like theater hop to like important Hollywood locations and really focus on like the lineage and the legacy of Hollywood, which once again is all fine. But I think as an award show, it felt less like an award show and more like a homage
Sure.
to the industry. You know, it was like we're gonna get to tell you cool facts about all these cool Hollywood people, and then some people are gonna get awards.
It would almost be like watching the Grammys and not hearing any of the songs. Like
Yeah.
having it be like, and song of the year, the nominees are, and then just like flipping to them, but not hearing their music. Just being like, Billie Eilish was inspired by so and so for this record. It's like, well, let me hear the record.
What's the song?
What is she getting awarded for? She's clearly not getting awarded because she was inspired by this person. She's getting the award for the actual record. Let me hear it. I also think that they could have done some of the song performances that they did, all of the song performances that they did in the pre-show during the show. They could have had them air during that. And their in memoriam was way too quick, which
lot of
felt
people died.
Well,
but it also
I know.
it felt like, and a lot of people have said this, it felt like they rushed through In Memoriam so they'd have enough time to get to Chadwick Boseman winning his Oscar for Best Leading Actor, and then he didn't win.
Yeah, here's the other thing about this Oscar, right? They flashed through the in memoriam, which don't quote me on this, but might have been their longest in memoriam yet. They didn't have Anthony Hopkins do a speech, and they left out all the songs from the main show, and yet it still ended up running past time.
Right. How?
Yeah, how? We're gonna get to that Chadwick Boseman thing in a minute,
Sure.
because that was probably the weirdest moment of the night. Going back to awards, however, Borat subsequent movie film won for best adapted screenplay. My favorite. Oh, you don't look like you like that.
What was it adapted from?
It didn't. Wait, hold on.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. The father won. I'm so sorry about that.
It's like, what are you talking about, dog?
So I mean, it was nominated for that award,
Yeah.
but The Father is what was the winner of the adapted screenplay category. My bad, guys. Correction. I'm happy that Tenet won something. If it was gonna win for anything, it was gonna be for visual effects, because you know when you have to learn choreography forwards and backwards, I think that deserves. I think it should have been nominated for editing award, but I digress. Best sound went to Sound of Metal, which seems correct. You know, it's a movie all
Oh
about
yeah, for sure.
it's a movie all about this person who is like slowly losing his hearing and also dealing with substance abuse and addiction.
And I wish I had gotten to see that.
Or hear what
the design was.
because they talked about it and it sounded super cool. And I was like, well, I wish there was a way. I wonder if them not showing scenes from movies had anything to do with getting the rights from streaming services.
Maybe.
Possible, but I don't
Because
think so. I think it was a runtime thing.
they still went over though.
I know, but it would have gone even more over, you know? Like,
Well, do better, Oscars. Maybe you guys should get your priorities straight.
yeah, the Do Better podcast.
Let's see. What else do we have? Mank won for best production design.
You jumped over. You jumped
Yeah,
over
you
the
jumped
short
over
films.
2.
I know I did because I don't know anything about these other two.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't either.
Two Distant Strangers is a Netflix movie that follows, I believe, a black man and a police officer.
Oh wait, I do know something about that.
On how their stories connect. And If Anything Happens, I Love You is also a Netflix film. It is a 12-minute short about two parents dealing with the death of their child. There was a whole TikTok trend going around for a little while that was like, turn on If Anything Happens, I Love You, record yourself in the first 30 seconds, and then record yourself at 3 minutes, and then record yourself at the end. And it was like, oh wow, I'm really excited for this movie. Oh wow, this movie's a lot. And then the 12 minutes was just like bawling. And just like people sobbing at how like brutal this animated film was. So I really want to see it, but I'm worried that I am going to just like my heart's going to shatter into 1,000 pieces.
Well, if it does, then it did its job right.
That is true. So congratulations to both those short films. I look forward to seeing the animators of If Anything Happens, I Love You, and where they go on to. I would love to see them do full feature work. We've got movies like Soul coming out, so they definitely have a route into the industry. And then Two Distant Strangers, I'd love to see those guys start doing features. They've already done something super interesting here. I can't wait to watch Trayvon Free and Martin Desmond Rowe of Two Distant Strangers make features, and Will McCormack and Michael Govier of If Anything Happens, I Love You start making more featured animated movies. All four of those guys have really bright futures ahead of them, and I can't wait to be talking about the features that they make in the near future.
Now, I am realizing that this Oscars list that we are looking at is in alphabetical order.
It is.
So we're going to skip this next category, which is the Best Picture category, and talk about Best Original Song. Music went to Fight for You from Judas and the Black Messiah, music by Her, H-E-R. Her.
I wish I had gotten to hear it during the show.
Yeah. Again, I wish I had gotten to hear all of these songs during the show. I don't like... Why, Oscars? Why did you not give us?
Yeah, I'm trying to think back at the show at like what took up so much time, and I'm like, I'm not thinking of anything.
It's the script. It's the speeches that they gave before the acceptance speeches. It's all the intros. It's all the fucking segues. It's all the fucking setup. Blah,
Glenn Close
blah.
doing the butt, which was a viral moment that was scripted. Sorry to break it to you, folks.
Everything at the Oscars is scripted.
Best Music Original Score went to Soul, Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross, and John Batiste.
That music was great.
That music was great. I've heard it just like outside of the context of the film, and it's really nice.
Some intense jazz that goes on in that movie.
As there should be. Best Makeup and Hairstyling went to Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Sergio Lopez Rivera, Mia Neal, and Jamaica Wilson. I think it was when we got to makeup and hairstyling on the show that I was really like, why can we not see any of the makeup or the hairstyling?
Just show me a photo of Viola Davis.
Yeah.
Show me the sketches at least.
Yeah. You know, Oscars.
Do better.
Oscars, we were rooting for you. I was rooting for us. That's a RuPaul reference.
We were all rooting for you.
International feature film went to Another Round from Denmark, which stars Mads Mikkelsen as, I believe he's like a college professor who he joins his friends in an experiment about 24 hours of being drunk, but the hangover is much worse. That's the film description, not something
I want to see that. Mads Mikkelsen. I'll watch him.
Yeah, Mads Mikkelsen being drunk for most of a movie, I'll watch it.
He's a great actor.
Although I do hear that they are adapting it in America, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, which is an interesting choice. It reminds me of when Parasite won and its director was like subtitle, like Americans like to believe that subtitles are this like really big like barrier, and if you just like put that aside, your eyes will be opened to a new round of movies.
Yeah.
This is a movie with subtitles, and the fact that it's getting an American remake, when I've heard that Denmark holds kind of like cultural importance to the plot of the film,
Bro, just like
is,
Parasite. They were like, we're making an American version. It'll be on Hulu.
yeah, kind of weird. I have nothing more to say about that. Film editing went to Sound of Metal.
Would have loved to see it.
An example,
Or
you
just
know.
an example, you know?
Documentary short subject went to Colette, which also is technically a win for the video game community, as I believe Colette was a short subject documentary that was made for like one of like the Call of Duty games or like something like that to talk about that era. I believe it's World War II
Interesting.
era, and Call of Duty recently came out with Call of Duty World War II. So good for video game companies making movies. You did it. You got an Oscar. Logan, do you want to talk about some of our next awards?
Yeah, sure. Let
Not
me
all
pull up-
just me.
I'll pull up the actual.
I'll do it. Best documentary feature went to My Octopus Teacher.
Netflix original.
Netflix original. Yeah, I see it all the time on my suggested, but I haven't clicked it. Maybe I
True.
will now that I know that it's won an Oscar.
Yeah, and it seems pretty heartwarming. Like, I feel like I could learn a lot from an octopus. Multitasking.
Maybe. I mean, I feel like I could learn a lot from the ocean.
Yes.
I don't know.
We've
that-
explored more of space than we have our own oceans.
right? Isn't that weird? That like we're
Spooky.
planning on going to Mars and we haven't even been to the bottom of the ocean.
Yep. Too much pressure.
Yeah.
Best director
Yeah.
of the year. It went to Nomadland. Chloe Zhao.
Congratulations
Nomadland.
to Chloe Zhao.
Congratulations, Chloe Zhao. I haven't seen your
Yes.
movie. Maybe I will now.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
watch it now. It's one of the few movies that are available on streaming services.
We'll get to talking about Nomadland when we get to later categories, because spoiler alert, it won a lot. But continue on. Congratulations to Chloe Zhao. Absolutely. I think she's the second female director to win Best Directing and the first Asian woman to win.
Yes.
Both are awesome. Fully in support of that. I can't wait to see what she continues to do with her career.
Chloe Zhao is also going to direct Marvel's The Eternals.
Yes.
So we have an Oscar-winning director making a Marvel movie. With an all-star cast. Ooh, we have to talk about that later. On another day, we have to talk about The Eternals.
Shall I continue?
Yes,
Please.
please.
Yes. Costume design went to Ma Rainey's Black Bottom and Roth.
Again, wish I could have seen an example of it.
Well, maybe.
I mean, now I can, the power of Google, but I wish the show itself would have supplied the example. Bless
sure.
you, Jacob.
Thank you very much. You know what's also nominated in this category, which I had no idea about, was Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Like Pinocchio came and went, and where is it? Because I want to see that. And it wasn't a Disney movie.
It wasn't
No.
a Disney movie. It wasn't even an American movie, I believe. I believe it's like
It's French.
French. Yeah, European.
Interesting. Very interesting. Cinematography went to Mank. Eric.
Of course,
Messerschmidt.
David Fincher won for his cinematography.
It wasn't David
It
Fincher.
wasn't David Fincher.
It's his movie with his style, but yes, it is a different cinematographer. I believe it's the same cinematographer he uses on all of his projects.
All right. Well,
But he has a very unique eye, and so the
Yeah.
fact that a movie he directed won Best Cinematography does not surprise me.
totally. Yeah, I'm on the same page, buddy. Best animated feature film went to Soul, Pete Docter, and Dana Murray.
Congratulations, Soul.
No shock there. I mean, it was a great film. I also want to see Wolfwalkers. That's an
Yeah, me
Apple
too.
TV Plus original.
And I've heard really good things about Over the Moon. It's like
It's on Netflix, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Check that out. I've seen it. It's good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Best actress in a supporting role went to Yoo Jung Yoon in Minari.
Which I'm so happy
Yay.
about. She looked shocked that she won, and I was thrilled. I really want to see Minari. It's one of the like 3 on my list that I'm like, that's one that I have to see now.
You've got that one, right?
I've got all of them.
Man, I gotta see it.
We'll have a marathon day someday soon when we're all back.
Absolutely. Best actor in a supporting role went to Daniel Kaluuya. Judas and the Black Messiah.
Completely
Yay.
deserved.
Our man, he totally deserved it. He,
Such a powerful performance.
I would
Oh,
have been
so
happy
good.
if Daniel or Lakeith had won,
Let's talk about that.
because I think Lakeith had such a challenge in this role for him.
In the lead role,
Yeah.
he was the lead.
Well,
should have been-
I think both of them were actually leads.
Well, yes, but I do think that Lakeith is our Judas.
He's our protagonist. He's the
Okay.
guy who we're
So
following.
why is he in a
the whole movie.
supporting role here? I guess it's because it was such an ensemble piece.
It's because the producers nominated him for supporting, but they should have nominated him for leading actor. Who knows why they put him up for supporting?
Yeah, that's kind of BS, honestly, now that you mention it.
There are definitely some people that have said that he wasn't nominated for leading actor because people didn't want two black actors to win the two major actor awards for the night.
Okay.
Which, hey, we'll get to what happened later, but there's also there was no reason for him to be nominated as best supporting actor. He should have been nominated as best leading actor. He gave a performance that deserved to be nominated for best leading actor. But at the end of the day, I thought
God, he made me cry, dude.
I thought Daniel's performance as Fred Hampton was just
Brilliant.
outstanding.
He transformed. He's
He
another
did transform. Yes.
extremely versatile actor.
Yeah, I mean, from Skins to Black Mirror to Get Out to this is just a block of work that I am thrilled to continue following.
Yeah.
And then here's where the Oscars took a weird bit of a turn, right? So we get to Best Picture, which usually is like, yes, Best Picture. We're arriving at the end of the show. Awesome. Best Picture winner, Nomadland. Congratulations, Chloe Zhao, yet again.
Also, we're starting with Best Picture, which we normally end the night with. So already we've got some structure
Something's up.
weirdness happening, which it appears was done so that the final award of the night could be Best Actor. Okay, I understand that. Chadwick Boseman has been sweeping the entirety of the award seasons and winning for Best Actor in a leading role. It's very clear that he's probably going to win the Oscar. So what a way to send off the night than to give Chadwick Boseman the award for Best Leading Actor. Except they didn't.
Yeah, why did they switch? Whose idea was it to switch the nominees around?
My guess was the people that were producing the Oscars who thought Chadwick was going to win and didn't know that he was going to lose to Anthony Hopkins. Which is yeah, I get it. You guys want that Oscar moment of let's end celebrating Chadwick Boseman's life, which is great. And
then we didn't.
You could have saved it had you let Anthony Hopkins give his speech from his home, because his entire speech was, I'm so shocked that I won. I want to dedicate this award to Chadwick Boseman. He was gone too soon. I respect him so much. He should be the one collecting this award. His speech was, let's honor Chadwick Boseman, which is what they were trying to do, but instead completely missed with Joaquin Phoenix just being like, I'm accepting the award on behalf of Anthony Hopkins. Okay, good night. And then the show just kind of ended. It was kind of like, we don't know how to end now, so let's just kind of go off air.
Yeah, it was
really
a very weird moment. And because we kind of skipped over it talking about the way the show ended, Best Actress in a Leading Role went to Frances McDormand in Nomadland. So Nomadland was our big Oscar winner. Now, Logan, I know you have thoughts. And I also know that none of us have actually seen Nomadland. So
I have not seen
our opinions with a grain of artistic salt.
Yes, I need to see Nomadland now because I need to form an opinion, because I've either heard that it is the greatest film of the year and it will change your life, or it's horribly boring and the person that said that to me doesn't understand why it was nominated for anything. I want to see where I fall on that table. I can't really make an opinion about it without seeing it. From what I've heard about it, I'm intrigued. But at the end of the day, Viola Davis and Chadwick Boseman have won at every other award show for a reason. The Oscars are kind of the only award show that does ranked choice voting, which is it's something that we're actually doing in the New York primary, which is you rank your first choice and then your second choice and then your third choice. If your first choice gets knocked out, your vote goes down to your second until they have a majority winner. I think what may have happened with Best Picture, Best Leading Actor, stuff like that, Trial of the Chicago 7 and Judas and the Black Messiah probably split their vote. People that were going to vote for one or the other voted for one or the other. And so you have that large block of kind of social justice vote getting split. We shall see how some of these films age over the years. There tends to be kind of a tradition in the Oscars of either the Best Picture nominee is either remembered forever as the best movie of that year, it was incredible, or 5 years down the line, there's an article published about X was not actually the Best Picture of the year, it was actually Y. Because if we think back to early 2000s, Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King won Best Picture.
Over, but what was
Shakespeare
the?
in Love won Best Picture. There are some movies that like we really think back and go, why did that win? That doesn't make a lot of sense. But
I mean,
ultimately,
Return of the King is good.
it's good, yes. Honestly, it needed to win the year that it won because Fellowship and Two Towers had not won. It was more an award for the whole series than it was Best Picture for Return of the King in particular. Because Return of the King is kind of widely considered to be the worst of the three. It's the weakest of the
Wait,
trilogy.
isn't it the second one?
No, Return of the King is the third.
That's the third
The
one?
one that has 17 endings.
Right. Got you.
Lord of the Rings taking all the good awards out here. Damn it.
LOL. But yeah, Nomadland winning both Best Leading Actor for Frances McDormand and Best Director and Best Picture means that it's worth watching. It is worth taking a look at.
It must be somehow.
It's got to be fantastic. So
You know,
I guess
so
we'll watch it.
Yeah, I'm looking at maybe you and me could watch it this coming week, Jacob.
Yeah, dude,
Ooh.
maybe.
While we're
Maybe.
busy working. So let's see, like overall concluding opinions about this year's Oscars.
For me, it's Oscars do better. As always, I wasn't particularly thrilled by the results. Go Soul. That's all I gotta say.
Respect to everybody who won an award. You're all deserving. Whether or not we necessarily agree with the win does not take away from whether or not we think you're worthy of it. I think all these artists are super deserving of the awards that they got. The show itself, I thought, was a major miss. I expect a lot better from Steven Soderbergh. He is a brilliant filmmaker. This was a major misstep in terms of award show layout, structure, format. It felt like they tried to do something different and it just did not work.
I wish I could have seen more of these movies beforehand, and I wish the Oscars would have shown me more of these movies the night of. And that's really my opinion on it, and that's it. Wow, what content are we consuming, guys? This might be our longest podcast to date.
I know, I was going to say, let's move away from the content we haven't consumed into the content we are consuming.
Well, my list is pretty short.
Do it.
Formula One, Drive to Survive. I'm up to date. Today was the third practice run of their Portugal season. I'm now up to date. I found out my cousin also watches Formula One, so now I have someone else to talk to about it. Yeah, Formula One. I'm on that wave. Go Lewis Hamilton, go Charles Leclerc, go Daniel Ricciardo, yo. So there's that. And then in terms of music, because that's really only been the other thing I've been consuming, I listened to Flying Lotus's score for the Netflix original anime Yasuke, and boy, does that album slap. Ooh, it makes me want to watch the show so bad, which I will, and I'll give you some opinions on the next podcast, because it's only about 6 episodes. I believe that's really it. Who's next?
I'll go.
Go ahead.
Been watching Formula One. I'm all caught up. Can't wait to start watching this like live season live and not on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be missing out on that behind the scenes drama, but
We'll get it eventually.
Yeah,
You'll get it through the interviews.
Totally. What else? Still listening to the This Is Important podcast. Shout out another podcast. I have a lot of fun listening to those guys. I haven't really been playing any games lately. Not much music either. I just started season 2 of For All Mankind on Apple TV Plus.
Okay.
Nice.
They've moved ahead 10 years between
Ooh.
seasons, so that's nuts. Still using the same actors. Interesting stuff, really. Apple TV's TV is like really interesting. That's what I'll say. I'm having fun.
Nice.
Logan, what about you?
I got some new stuff this week. I started playing Black Desert Online with Jeremy and collective member Mike. I'm playing as a wizard, so that's been super fun. It's kind of an MMO for your typical fighting game fan. It's not a lot of like, use this skill, then use this skill. It's a lot of like, how can you combo? So like there's 6 different buttons that you use to attack, and you can use that to create combos. I have a lot of fun with it. I've been digging it. I just watched the movie Things Heard and Seen, which stars Amanda Seyfried, James Norton, Natalia Dyer, and Alex Newstender. I thought it was super cool. It was a super creepy movie. I dug it. It was really well shot. And I liked the actors in it. I'm a huge fan of both Amanda and Natalia. I think they're both really brilliant. I hope to get to work with both of them someday. I also want to shout out The Circle Season 2, which I've been having a lot of fun gross binge watching. Honestly, the only reality show that I could actually see myself like going on.
Is River still there?
River has still survived. He's holding on. But I haven't watched all the episodes that have premiered this last week, and they were kind of down to like him or one person going home in my last episode. So I'm a little nervous that I'm going to lose River this week. But I really am digging it. They brought in someone new named John. John's really cool. John is being played by 2 different players. So I'm really interested in seeing how John does. Still watching the Great British Baking Show. My mom and I have like kind of watched it backwards. So we're back at some of the original seasons. So that's kind of cool to kind of see how the show has advanced and like looking back on like older episodes. Finished The Irregulars. If you're looking for a new gritty dark take on a futuristic Sherlock that really focuses on his addiction and the fact that his addiction becomes a major problem, check it out. It's really cool. It does something super unique with Sherlock, Mycroft, and John. And so I recommend that to anybody who likes Sherlock as a character and is willing to see something new. Do not go in expecting the greatest detective, because that's not who this Sherlock is. Is there anything else that I'm really playing? More Apex, you know? I picked up some more games in the spring sale, including Black Desert Online. If you guys don't know, every now and again, I randomly live stream on Twitch, so maybe check out my Instagram. I might post about that this week. As while I'm out of town, I will probably want to do that. So if you want to like hop in and say hi to the Blackwolves, Jeremy and I are normally just chilling in chat. So come say hi, come join us. We'll have a little bit of fun with that. I'm also just consuming the news. I'm keeping up to date with everything that's going on in the world. I'm trying to keep up. And a final shout out, because I realize I've never shouted it out on the podcast, even though it's one of my favorite things. Watching AEW Dynamite every Wednesday night. Tomorrow is Blood and Gut, which is going to be absolutely insane and really brutal. And if you don't like blood, don't watch it.
I mean, there's blood in the title. Like,
exactly. AEW, for anyone who doesn't know, is kind of a new wrestling promotion. It's like WWE, but if the wrestlers had health care and the ability to write their own storylines and weren't tied to the whims of a 75-year-old man who continually makes decisions based on his own opinions and not the opinions of people around him.
Now, do they have health care because of the exploding barbed wire death matches, or do they have the exploding barbed wire death matches because they have healthcare?
A little bit of both. They started the company with the implicit intention of making sure that all of their wrestlers were employees. WWE has all their wrestlers under contract as independent contractors, despite the fact that they own the right to their name, title, everything they do outside of WWE, like Twitch and Cameo. They have the right to all that money. They don't have healthcare and they aren't considered full-time employees, so they can't like file for unemployment. AEW has all their wrestlers as full-time employees, but still lets them make money off merch sales and off their own thing. I very much support that. And as someone who really loves fight choreography, I think AEW does some of the best fight choreography in the world. Yes, wrestling is predetermined, but just because something's predetermined does not mean it is not dangerous or does not take a massive amount of skill to do. So shout out to AEW Dynamite. I'm really excited for this week. I think it's going to be a really good show. If you've ever watched WWE, you'll know Cody Rhodes, Dustin Rhodes, who used to be Goldust, Chris Jericho, Christian. Big Show is now with AEW. Matt Hardy's with AEW. So there's a lot of old WWE guys who have kind of come over. So if you liked the Attitude Era in the 90s and you're looking for something like that to watch now, AEW, Wednesday nights, 7 o'clock. Highly recommend. That is the content that I am consuming this week. Very excited for this upcoming week for all of us working, though, that we will be creating content for others to consume.
Yeah, Sirski. Thank you so much for watching the Packcast. You saw that I just yawned. Don't worry, I'm going to take a nap right after this podcast because we have a big week ahead of us, everyone at Blackwolves. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment. What do you want us to talk about? What do you want us to watch so that we can talk about it? Let us know, and we shall do our best to fulfill your wishes. I'm Jeremy Van Suarez.
I'm Jacob Wade.
And I am Logan Riley Bruner.
And we shall see you next time. Wow.